or by regular mail to WRMI, Post Office Box 526-852, Miami, Florida 33152, USA.
Radio Slovakia International. Slovakia Today.
Dobry dzień and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Slovakia Today. My name is Gavin Shoebridge, and as you've heard, there's no news in today's show. This is because today is a public holiday in Slovakia, and a rather important one at that. Today is the 1st of November, known as All Saints' Day, a day where a great number of Slovaks pay their respects to the dearly departed. This means that today's show is focused on all things spiritual, with a little bit of the afterlife thrown in too, starting with an interesting interview with a man in high demand, explaining what today means for Slovakia's Catholics.
And the whole cemeteries are transformed from quiet and eerie to a boisterous, colorful garden.
Following that, I'll be taking you to a small village about an hour away from Bratislava city to look at an invention a group of locals built during the days of communism as a means to help the deceased take their final journey to the afterlife.
So just like the ancient pyramids were built.
And last but not least, I'll be taking you deep underground to a boneyard or ossuary, deep underground yet located under a busy square in the center of the nation's capital.
If they weren't Christians, then they would cremate or destroy the remains and then scatter the ashes.
There's suitable music in today's show too, featuring Jana Kirchner and her song Okolo Nas, meaning around us, where she sings of daily miracles and how nothing lasts forever. All this starting right now with Radio Slovakia International. The 1st of November is All Saints' Day, an important event in the Christian calendar. It's a day where Slovaks, the majority of whom are Roman Catholic, visit the graves of friends and family to light candles and pray. But there's more to this day than simply visiting cemeteries, and it's not to be confused with Halloween or All Saints' Day.
My name is Jan Vilash.
Father Jan Vilash is the head of the Diocesan Seminary of St. Francis Xavier in the central Slovak town of Badin. I caught up with him during a visit to Bratislava to ask how All Saints' Day, also known as the Feast of All Saints, came to be.
The origins of the Feast of All Saints' Day could be traced to the beginning of the 7th century, when the Roman temple of all Roman gods, called Pantheon, was given by the Roman Emperor to the Pope Boniface, I think. This temple of all Roman gods, pagan gods, was transformed into the temple dedicated to Our Lady and the All Saint Martyrs. So that was the beginning of 7th century. And then in the 8th century, Pope Gregory III founded an oratory in St. Peter's Basilica for the relics of the Holy Apostles and of all saints, martyrs, and confessors. And then in the 9th century, Pope Gregory IV switched the date of the Feast of All Saints from the 13th of May to 1st of November to surpass or overcome the pagan feast of the Exile.
Moving into the 21st century, 2017, for Catholics today, what is the importance or relevance in today's modern age?
The Feast of All Saints Day is connected with another day, which is called All Faithful Departed, or All Souls. In Slovakia, we call that day Dušičky. In Slovakia, sometimes it is mistaken with the 1st of November, which is All Saints' Day. And the evening preceding to this feast is called, in English-speaking countries, Halloween, which has a different connotation, even though the Halloween means All Hallows' Eve, which means the evening preceding the first of All Saints' Day, All Hallows' Day. And the feast, or the memory of all the faithful departed, or all souls, or little souls in Slovakia, Dušičky, which means little souls, is the day when the Church, especially the Catholic Church, remembers the souls of all the faithful departed and prays for their salvation. So that means that on the 1st of November, the Catholic Church celebrates the Church triumphant, the Church in heaven, already in heaven. On the 2nd of November, all the faithful departed, the Church celebrates or remembers the Church in purgatory or Church suffering. These days make a profound bond with the Church pilgrim on the earth, or the church moving on the earth towards heaven. So in the Catholic tradition, we have church triumphant, church suffering, and church moving towards heaven. And these days fit perfectly together to remember that we are on the way to heaven. We are very fragile. We sin. We need God's mercy. And also those who preceded us, the faithful departed, need our help. So that's why the Church prays for them. In the Catholic tradition, it is expressed in the belief in purgatory.
Whether you're Christian or not, if you haven't been to a cemetery in Slovakia on the 1st of November, you're missing out on an awe-inspiring experience. Come evening time, the air becomes crisp, fog often descends, swarms of people tend to the graves of their loved ones, pray, sing, and light thousands of flickering candles which illuminate the nighttime mist. It's an attraction that's not mentioned in tourist brochures, but it's one that visitors to Slovakia, religious or not, can enjoy.
The 1st of November and also the 2nd of November is remembered with a particular moving atmosphere in Slovakia. The cemeteries across Slovakia during days around this feast become a mass of flickering light in the gathering darkness as families go to pay their respects and remember the departed. November the 1st and then the 2nd are also the national holidays or bank holidays and school holidays, and these are the busiest days on the road. Families move to the cemeteries, the children light the candles, and the whole cemeteries are transformed from quiet and eerie to a boisterous, colorful garden.
Father Viglash explained that during this time he returns home to visit his local cemetery to pay his own personal respects. But how important is All Saints' Day in comparison to more popular Christian holidays such as Easter and Christmas?
In the Christian tradition and Christian theology, the most important days and feasts are Easter and then Christmas. Easter is the day of victory of Jesus Christ over sin and death. Christmas is the day of his birth. So these are the most celebrated days and the most important theological feasts. Celebrated 80 days, called Octave. The old calls this feast. And then there are solemnities. Is one of the solemnities. And then liturgically we have solemnities, feasts, memories and optional memories. And then ferial days.
Regarding the Americanized version of Halloween, which is encroaching every country, is this slow creep of commercialization a danger for All Saints' Day, as it has happened with Easter and Christmas?
During the communist regime, the Halloween was completely unknown feast in Slovakia. We knew that only from the American movies. But then it crept in slowly as a commercial feast. Which concerns me personally is not that much the pagan origin or the pagan content of the Halloween. Because, as I said, Halloween means All Hallows Eve, which means evening before the days of All Hallows, All Saints. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory IV switched